The race for the Charleston County Register of Deeds office is heating up between Tom Hartnett Jr. and Michael Miller. I sit down one-on-one with Tom Hartnett Jr. for a special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores and listen later on iHeartRadio. Tom Hartnett Jr.
In Washington, good morning, sir.
Good morning, good to see you.
Good to see you too, sir.
I appreciate it greatly.
Thank you. I appreciate you interviewing me again.
Anytime. It's almost October.
Yes, it is.
So you almost have like 2 months before the actual election?
Yes, sir.
General election.
Yes, sir.
And I know from lowcountrysource.com on August 28th, the headline reads this: Hartnett plans to modernize Registered Deeds office. And let me read a portion of the article to you.
Okay, please.
It says this: Charleston area realtor and Republican nominee for Charleston County Register of Deeds, formerly known as the Register, I can't pronounce it.
Registered Domestic Conveyance.
There you go. Tom Hartnett decided to run for office to modernize it and make it more user-friendly. Tell me, how do you do that?
Well, the office is already a very modern office. Of the, as I've said I think in our prior interview, of the 3 offices for the Register of Deeds in the Tri-County area, Charleston is the one I'm most familiar with. It's the one I use on a more regular basis as in my line of work professionally. But there are some issues with the office that need some upgrades in the computer system. There's a lack of interconnectivity between the various county sites. Charleston County also, when you go to record a deed, record a mortgage, when you use the ROD office for the recording of documents, there is a fee involved. Well, when you pay that fee, you currently either have to pay with a check or you have to pay with cash. Charleston County ROD office does not take credit cards, it does not take debit cards, where the treasurer's offices and the other offices do. So one thing we would like that I would like to look at doing is taking, let's call it an electronic payment, some form of electronic payment, be it debit, be it credit, be it some type of different transfer, aside from the check and the cash that they currently take. Most people just don't carry cash now. And if you take a pre-made check to the office and it's made out for the wrong amount, then you have to go through the motions of getting a new check. So that's one of the things that I would like to look at doing. That's a way to, if you want to call it, modernize the office. As I said, there's not a lot of interconnectivity between the sites. When you go into the into the assessor's office, it'll give you information on the property. You'll see the tax map number. I want you to be able to click on the tax map number, click on the recorded deed link, click on the recorded mortgage link, click on the recorded plat link, and be able to go directly to that in the ROD office from one of the other sites within Charleston County, instead of having to back out of the assessor's office and then go into the ROD office. If you could have that direct interconnectivity. To a lot of people, it's not a lot of effort to minimize one portion of the site and open another site. But if you're an abstractor, if you're a surveyor, if you're an appraiser, somebody that's spending a lot of time on that website doing your research, a couple of minutes, 20 or 30 times a day starts adding up. And time is important to people, and essentially, as the old adage goes, time is money. So I'd like to increase the interconnectivity between the various county websites, if possible. Obviously, I realize that I have to go through council, I have to go through the IT department. It's not something that I can implement on my own. So that's another way. So electronic payments, a better interconnectivity of the site. Another thing that has been recommended that the other counties do that Charleston County does not currently do is e-file, or electronic filing. I've had real estate attorneys that I've spoken with say that yes, we need it, but Charleston County is just not quite ready for it yet. I think anything that would improve the efficiency of the office, we're ready for right now. So I'm going to have to look, there's different vendors obviously, so we'd have to speak with different vendors that handle the software. Again, I would have to check with the IT department to make sure that their software is compatible with us. I'm sure we'd have to get some sort of appropriations approved by council in order to purchase the software or however it works. So these are a lot of things that I would like to do. Obviously, there are steps that I would have to follow to have these implemented. It's not something that I could just go in and do on a whim. So those are three of the things that I would like to do. The interconnectivity of the site, look at electronic filing, and also look at some form of electronic payment. So those are three of the things that I would like to work on with the office, and see if we can't make some improvements there and make the office more efficient.
You talk about time is money. How much time does it take to actually speed up those documents, process those documents in your mind?
Quintin, to tell you, I couldn't tell you exactly how much time it would cost. I mean, how much it would speed up the documents. I know that I've been told by outside users of the office that with the recording of the documents, that in order when attorneys file the documents with the office, they cannot release the title insurance policy until the recorded deed, the recorded mortgage is public record, the way I understand it. So if you record it, it takes a couple days to get it in the system. It takes it a couple days to scan it in, get everything up where it can be seen. It could be a week or so before the attorneys are able to issue the title policies. Now, the attorneys and the outside users, they don't get paid until those policies are issued. So to them, by expediting or speeding up the process, they can get paid a little bit quicker. The interconnectivity of the site is, as I said, that would make it more efficient for a user. When I'm doing my research for my appraisals, as I said, I have to go to the tax site, and then I have to go to the ROD office, and the different sites make different reference to the different deeds. And although it may only take me 1 or 2 more minutes to back out from one site and go to another site, if I do that 10, 15, 20 times a day, that adds up to an hour. It could be even more lost in a work day, or definitely in a work week. You lose that time just having to go back and forth from one site to the other, when you shouldn't have to do that. You should be able to click and go directly to what you need, and it helps speed the process up and allows me to get my projects done and move on to other projects.
Can I reset and ask you a simplistic question? What is the role of the Register of Deeds office?
The Register of Deeds office is responsible for, it is primarily a records keeping position.
Okay.
The Register of Deeds office is responsible for the paperwork, or call it paperwork related to property issues or related to real estate and real property in the county. The Register of Deeds office records deeds. They record mortgages, they record plats, they record liens on property. And like I said, it's primarily a records-keeping office, is what it is.
And I know on the other side, your other opponent that is Michael Miller, he basically says he's campaigning on hot-button issues like the use of eminent domain to acquire private property and the gentrification of low-income neighborhoods. How does that fit in the Register of Deeds office?
That does not fit into the Register of Deeds office. Typically, by the time something has gone through the eminent domain process, the property has already been lost, or the property has already transferred. It's not until that point that there's actual transfer of property that the Register of Deeds office comes in, and that's on the recording and the records keeping at the tail end of the transaction. The Register of Deeds office is the Register of Deeds office does not get involved in the transactions. The Register of Deeds office is not allowed to offer legal advice. If people are dealing with those issues and they come to the Register of Deeds office seeking help, as I said, the Register of Deeds cannot give legal advice, but they can, and in many cases do or are allowed to point people in the right direction of the resources that can help them with that. But for the most part, the Register of Deeds office is not involved with that at all.
And let me get back to you and your campaign. What's that one word to describe your campaign now?
Rolling. We are rolling along. We are rolling toward November. We are gaining more support. We're gaining more endorsements. It's just, we've got a lot of momentum right now. We feel good, and we're just, like I said, we're rolling toward the finish line in November.
And I forgot to ask you this, but this might be a complicated question. But what are the top areas in Charleston County that uses the Register of Deeds office in your mind?
Mainly, as I said, mainly it's involved with the records on real estate and real property in the Charleston area. So, as a real estate appraiser, I use the Register of Deeds office on a regular basis to research my sales. I have to verify sales that I use as my comparables. Of course, I use the Register of Deeds on my subject properties to make sure I have all the background information, the deeds, etc. Surveyors use the Register of Deeds office on a regular basis when they are recording new plats of properties, or when they are preparing new plats. They have to research the old plats. Of course, real estate attorneys use it on a regular basis for real estate closings to record the deeds. The lending institutions record the mortgages. And of course, there are title abstractors, which are involved with the real estate attorneys searching the titles to property, the chain of title to property, to make sure that when the property transfers, or when they issue a new deed, or issue or when the attorney issues the title policy on the property, they need to make sure that it has a good, clean chain of title. So those are some of the more regular uses. Of course, it's open to the public. It's a public office. It's every man's office to be able to go to and use. But primarily, those are sort of the industries that use the office more than others.
Tom Hartnett Jr., thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate this.
Thank you, Quintin. I appreciate it. It's a pleasure to see you, sir.
Likewise.
Thank you.